Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanine. We're going to begin here. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a fantastic day and you're feeling good, okay? So this is from finbowl.com and it's titled XRP could hit $21 by 2025 if it takes out this Fibonacci level. Expert analysis. We have a lot of positive things going on. We have some good articles today. A lot of good developments with XRP around the world, with Ripple around the world as well. So now let's scroll down here and see what they're talking about. So it says here, although XRP has started to consolidate the gains following a major victory of the blockchain company Ripple in the legal case against the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, a popular cryptocurrency analyst believes it might continue its gains, even reach $21 in the next couple of years. I'll take it. I'll say this also. It looked like it was starting to settle in around what, like 62 cents, 61, 63 cents, just consolidating there a little bit. That's what I saw. I don't know if that's accurate. You let me know. But it was always expected people were going to take profit. People bought in. They bought in at a low. Things went up pretty good, you know, for those who are not believers in XRP, long holders who wanted to leave. You know, it's funny. I actually had speculated that that's what would happen with XLM, that once XLM reached a certain price range, people would start taking crazy profit because they just wanted out. I know this because a lot of people told me that, right? Just like with XRP, a lot of people have told me, hey, Mick, I'm done, I'm gone, which is perfectly fine. XRP is a bank coin. XLM and Algorand, they're bank coins. That's how I look at them. So I'm always waiting for the banks to step in. I'm a long-term holder. I know it's going to take time. That's just personally how I feel. I'm not asking you to feel the same or do what I do. Not at all. Not at all. So we always knew they were going to take profit. And so things pulled back a little bit. So you have non-believers who invested just to make some quick money. They were going to take profit. You had long holders who just wanted to be done. They're just done with it. They took some profit. You also have a liquidity drain from the federal government of the United States. They actually two liquidity drains because we're still involved in one. That one wasn't major. It didn't have the effect I think that it would have had if those banks hadn't gone down first. But we're now going to be stepping into another liquidity drain, and a lot of you know why. We'll see how that affects everything. And then there's another catalyst. If you didn't see that last members only video, there's another catalyst that's looming. So I always expected those prices. I think a lot of us expect those prices to come down a little bit. But I think considering all of that, I think it hovering around 62 cents, 63 cents, I don't think it's that bad in my humble opinion. Nice, healthy little pullback. And I think actually that shows a little bit of strength. Now, if it goes down a little bit more, so be it. I'm not really concerned with these little price actions, truth be told. But I'm also trying to put a rationale to it, and an understanding to it, because I know so many people are going to discuss it with me. They're just going to. So I need to have my thoughts all together as to like why this is happening, and you know, something solid catalyst as to why. And then it also would give me an idea of, even if we get the proper catalyst, what is the balance between the two? How much is this one affecting price action negatively versus how much that one can affect it positively? When can this negative catalyst, these few negative catalysts be over? You know, there's a whole lot of FUD going on at the same time. I mean, this is some of the most FUD I've ever seen. I mean, I won't say the most FUD, but the most vicious FUD I've seen in a long time. So you have that going on as well. People really, really want people out of XRP. I don't know if the anger is real, but they definitely want people out of XRP. All right. So now it says here specifically, CoinsKid stated that he was looking for XRP to take out the 78.6% Fibonacci retracement level, which currently stands at $1.30. Indeed, if the token manages to do this, the analyst believes it could be a major buy signal and that it could hit the price level of $21 sometime in 2025. Now, another interesting thing, well, I will get to that later. I think I may have a little stellar chapter, just a little short one later. Let's move on to another article here, okay? I appreciate every single one of you being here. Thank you so much. All right. This article is from thecryptobasic.com and it's titled Forbes says China just made a significant game-changing move that could impact XRP's price. So more positive activity. You know, almost every day we're getting positive announcements. The whole BlackRock, you know, whatever that panel is that Ripple is on now with BlackRock and JP Morgan, that was great. The Palau digital wallet, that was great. The Palau stablecoin before both of those, that was great. We're getting great news every day. It's just a matter of whether people want to look into the light or the darkness. They want to live in bravery or fear, you know, and that's a personal decision for every individual. No one can choose that for you, you know. So great things continue to move us forward. The future continues to be bright based on factual information and catalyst. Factual information. So now let's read this little tidbit here. It says China's cryptocurrency landscape witnessed a seismic shift as Hong Kong issued its inaugural licenses within a freshly minted crypto framework. Now, when I learned it was Hong Kong, but you can also say Xiangong, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody out there speak Mandarin? Am I pronouncing it right? It's been a long time since I've actually had practice Xiangong. So anyway, it says Forbes has argued that the move could significantly impact the XRP market and other crypto assets as the development represents opening doors to a broader spectrum of crypto traders. So we get a little bit more I want to say regulatory clarity almost, because that's really what it is, right? We're getting the go ahead. Well, I'll just say that we're getting more go ahead from countries that people would never have expected to say, hey, we want everybody to trade in these cryptos now. Like, we're moving forward. It says, recall that a few weeks ago, Forbes projected about $15 trillion quake. We covered that. Entering the XRP market following multiple exchange-traded fund filings, as the Crypto Basic reported. I think I even titled the video that. A lot of the video titles come right from these articles here. Makes it a little bit easier. It's hard to come up with video titles after you've been making so many for we've been here for what, like a little over 2 years now. It hasn't been that long, actually, but still, all of those videos, you just run out of titles after a while. It says here, China licenses to exchanges. According to Forbes, unveiling the inaugural licenses, a culmination of Hong Kong's revamped crypto framework, has thrust local exchanges into the spotlight. Among the first recipients were crypto exchanges Hashkey and OSL. Notably, these licenses now bestow upon platforms the privilege of catering to Hong Kong's retail clientele, departing from their erstwhile focus solely on professional investors. Forbes quoted, that's a whole lot more capital that could play. Forbes quoted a spokesperson from Hashkey saying that the trading platform navigated a streamlined pathway to secure the renewed license. According to the rep, this move facilitates an expansion beyond catering solely to seasoned investors, as it now encompasses retail users. It says, on the other hand, Hugh Matten, the CEO of OSL, was quick to underscore the gravity of the development, touting it as, quote, a significant first mover advantage. See how they always phrase these things? For significant first mover advantage. We're still in the nascent phase. We're still in the beginning. No matter how long people have held, I've had a lot of people say these things to me. No matter how long people have held, we're still in the beginning. It does not change the point in the timeline that we're at. It doesn't. It doesn't. It says, with an air of triumph, he declared that users now wield the power to trade XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Previously, Jeremy Allaire, CEO of stablecoin issuer Circle, underscored that surging demand for crypto assets in emerging markets. He underscored the surging demand. He particularly mentioned Asia, with China and Hong Kong playing pivotal roles in this trend. Meanwhile, industry experts anticipate that China's reentry into crypto could catalyze the next price surge. So that's something to keep an eye on. More positive news. So now let's move on here. So now this article is also from thecryptobasic.com, and it is titled Ripple CLO, Deaton, and former SEC official call for probe into Hinman's speech. Things are getting deep, folks. It says John Reed Stark, Stuart Alderati, and attorney Deaton are calling for an investigation into Hinman's conduct at the SEC. Didn't I say that this should happen a long time ago? But better late than never. Especially when Hinman had received notation, alert, warning from another individual saying, hey, we think what you're doing, allegedly this is what they said, this is what was said in the articles, that they warned him that what he was doing was possibly illegal. There was something there. I can't remember the specifics, but others may know. It says, especially the motivation behind his famous 2018 speech. It says the controversy surrounding William Hemmon's infamous speech on cryptocurrencies has continued to be a major topic of discussion. Yesterday, they reiterate the same thing from the top. It says Hemmon's speech saga. Notably, the emails relate to internal deliberation among SEC officials, leading to the draft of William Hemmon's speech. Recall that Hemmon, who was the director of SEC's corporation finance, gave a crypto-related speech June 14, 2018 that we know. It says Hemmon declared Ethereum and Bitcoin as non-securities during the speech, noting that both assets are, quote, sufficiently decentralized. However, several allegations suggest that Hemmon may have been paid to declare ETH as a non-security. Boom. That's unbelievable. These allegations remain unconfirmed, but that's what this investigation is about, to try to attempt to confirm such a thing and then clear that up. Because like I said before, if this individual is involved, other individuals are involved. Just my humble opinion, which means the SEC has to be cleaned up. So now let's move on to another article here. All right. So now this article is from U.Today and it's titled XRP and Litecoin see epic $1 million inflows amid Bitcoin exodus. All right. So now let's scroll down here. It says here, and I'm going to tell you what, like I said, there's a liquidity drain coming. Like Bitcoin, although they like to say it's a safe store of value, and many people may perceive that depending on where you got in price wise, right? But a lot of big time investors consider, in comparison to other investments, that it's a risk asset. They're going to pull their money from risk assets, not just Bitcoin, but anything that's considered a risk asset, they may pull liquidity from. So they can go into non-risk assets, which, by the way, are about to flood the markets. Right? So, I mean, I don't know when that's going to take effect, but I would expect that. I would expect money to come out of Bitcoin, not because Bitcoin is bad. No, not at all. It's a moneymaker for sure, right? And will be for quite some time, I believe. I do believe bank coins are superior, but no, Bitcoin will definitely be a moneymaker. It will do what it does. And I hope people make their money with Bitcoin. But no, because they're going to pull capital from a lot of different things just because of that. They're going to go into T-bills and bonds and such like that. I mean, the flood is coming. They already let the people know. People are not listening. So they won't understand why something is happening. But anyway, this is my humble opinion. Could be wrong about that. It says, according to crypto asset manager CoinShares, Bitcoin investment products suffered massive outflows. Well, why? What's the catalyst? It's just happening randomly. There's always a cause for every effect, but let's continue on. It says, in the prior week, as investors instead favored funds centered on alternative cryptocurrencies. Are you sure about that? How much capital does it actually take to make those altcoins go green? Does it take that? Is it the same amount of capital coming from Bitcoin going into those altcoins? I guess they'll explain that here. It says funds centered on alternative cryptocurrencies or altcoins such as XRP, Litecoin, and Solana. Is that so? It says CoinShares noted that digital asset investment products saw outflows of $107 million. You know what? I'm going to say this, and I could be completely wrong. But would it not be a good strategy, right? You take a lot of capital out of Bitcoin and you just put a little bit, just enough to make most of the altcoins go green, right? Which a lot of them, when I get alerts, it says most of them are up by like 5%. So all of them just happen to be up by 5%. It's a little over 5%, but I'm rounding it. Have you seen that? Am I the only one that sees that? Alerts come in, oh, it's up by 5%. H-bar is up by 5%. Really? But wouldn't that be a good distraction? Because a lot of people will look at those and say, oh, wait, maybe I can make some money with that. People jump at that green. But what they're not seeing is that these other investors may have the opportunity to buy up all the non-risk assets that they want while they're pointing over here and you're looking over here, the other people, they're doing something over there. Right? And those non-risk assets make a lot of money. Good strategy, right? I'll point you over here. Oh, look, there's copper over there. Where's the copper? Right? Meanwhile, over here, I quietly sneak away and I'm digging up all that gold. Right? I'm just giving this is just an example I'm throwing out there off the top of my head. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Keep the people distracted. But anyway, let's continue on here. Because it's not altcoin season. I don't see this as being an altcoin season. I don't. We lived through a real altcoin season. Algorand was exploding. Cardano was exploding. Batcoin was exploding. XRP had exploded. XLM had exploded. I mean, from where we got in, when I first came here, everything was like super low. Then it exploded. We were here for about 3 months. Then everything exploded. So that was an altcoin season for you. Everything was going off left and right. So anyway, let's continue on here. Bitcoin was once again the center of attention as it experienced its largest weekly outflows in months. Bitcoin witnessed outflows of $111 million, its largest weekly outflows since March. I don't know if that's changed as of today. You know, you all would know better than I do. I don't follow Bitcoin. But this article here is from U.Today, and it's titled XRP On-Chain Data Has Something to Tell Us. Oh, yeah? What does it have to say? I say those things like that as though they're actually going to be able to answer me. In the realm of cryptocurrency, on-chain data provides a direct window into operations and trends of a network. We consider XRP the third largest cryptocurrency by market cap. The on-chain metrics present an enlightening perspective, especially as it coincides with its current price trajectory. The most evident sign from the on-chain data is the oppressed dynamic of XRP, indicating a lack of momentum on the market, which means what? That means some people are holding and a lot of people have already sold who would otherwise cause volatility, right? So as a vital metric, the transaction volume remains at its pre-surge level. This stagnation in transaction activity shows a clear disconnect from the brief euphoria that engulfed the market following the SEC's ruling. Not necessary, it's not needed. Why? Well, I guess for investors such as myself. It's not needed because it's coming from retail. And retail is always going to be whimsical. 1 minute they believe when it's all going green. Some people even bought at a high. Right? Then they don't believe and they all sell. That's retail. But with these bank coins, these utility coins, it's a beautiful thing if the future plays out how it's supposed to, because then you'll have, there will be a little bit of volatility, but more like gold, it will be accepted volatility. It's not enough. It won't be enough to make waves because there'll be consistency in transaction volume. There'll be consistency. If the bank has to buy this amount today, then they have to buy that amount tomorrow, that amount the next day, or every 2 days or every 3 days. It doesn't make a difference. Sooner or later, you get a natural flow going because they have payroll flowing across it. Every week, there's that same payroll, or every 2 weeks. You get what I'm saying? Or wholesale payments to each other. Every month, there's this wholesale pay. Every week, there's this wholesale. Every day, there's these 300, 400, 500 wholesale payments. There begins to be a consistent flow, which brings about accepted volatility. There's not that much at that point. Once again, and I think it almost could be a little bit better than gold as far as the accepted volatility. I'm not talking price. All right. Where you're not worried about that at all. Not worried about that at all, because what's keeping them afloat is more solid than retail. So I'm not really concerned with retail euphoria. You know, if that's the case, then we would have to expect retail money to be able to make those prices skyrocket. And I don't think any of us does. You've seen it. The retail can't do anything with these bank coins that's not a little bit. If retail, FOMO's in, is as though is what people were saying that was happening after the case. That was FOMO. Price went up a little bit. It was fun. It was fun. I love to see that green. Great time. And some people who wanted to, they're not long-term holders. They made some money. But that's nothing. That's FOMO. That's pumping the price. That's nothing. So I don't think if people really understand XRP, they're not worried about retail. They're not worried about retail euphoria either. Just my humble opinion. I could be wrong. If you disagree, I can respect that. I respect that, man. All right. I'm not here to convince anyone of anything at all. I'm just here to share this research, and then you make your make up your own mind, but I do share my thoughts as well. Because we have conversations. A lot of people, we're talking back and forth in the members only section, or they contact me in other ways because they've been a member, or in the comment section on the regular video. So, I share my thoughts. It says moreover, the total fees of the XRP network paint a telling picture. Standing at a mere $1,450, it signals a discernible lack of market activity. To put things in perspective, robust and thriving networks often have a higher transaction fees, and a direct result of heightened trading, transfers, and overall user engagement. Wait, that's a good thing that you gave us this information, because someone else is going to keep track of this information. I'm probably not going to do that. I'm not concerned with that. I'll know things are happening as that price starts to go up or catalysts come in, things like that. I try to stay up to date every day because I'm interested in that. I like to know. I don't want to miss out on any type of information. And plus, I like to put puzzles together too. Because some people might say, well, then we don't need to listen until we don't need to do anything or listen to anything until the price starts going up. I mean, you could do that. We're all different. I don't control what other people do. I just know personally, I like to know the news. And that's what this is, the news. I like to hear the news, what's going on, what are the catalysts, are we moving forward? Then I'll know if the price is ever even going to go up. You won't know that if the right catalysts come in and you don't have the research, you're not staying up to date, you might have missed the catalyst that says, hey, the price is not going up. So I like to know, is it healthy? Is it doing well? Is it worth keeping my capital here? Is everything going according to plan? I had a variety of things I like to know. Do I have to adjust my estimate on where I think that price can go? Is it still going to go high? Is it going to go low? So that's why I keep up to date with things, but that's just me. I don't expect anybody else to be me. I'm not here to force anyone to do anything. It says here, to put things in perspective, robust and thriving networks often, we read that part already. All right, so now, this article here is from the cryptobasic.com and it's titled Binance Holds 2.8 billion XRP as revealed in new audit report. It says Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, has shared its up-to-date proof of reserves report providing transparency into the company's crypto holdings. Binance's updated POR report shows that the leading exchange holds a significant amount of XRP. It says according to data on the platform, the exchange's POR was audited on August 1st, 2023. Binance XRP holdings. Currently, Binance holds a net balance of 2,806,681,733.985 XRP. However, Binance's customers hold a combined 2,711,707,813 XRP as balances across their accounts. Wow. All right. So this suggests that Binance holds a slightly larger amount of XRP than its users. It's interesting. Consequently, the ratio of customer net balance to Binance's net balance for XRP was approximately 103.5%. Binance's decision to hold more XRP than its customers indicates that the exchange can guarantee sufficient liquidity and manage its risk profile. All right. Moving on to the next article here. So now, of course, any news that has to do with Japan is very significant for XRP, and I also will throw in there XLM. XLM has deep ties in Japan as well. It says here from Cointelegraph.com, and it says here, Japanese startup to use stable coins and CBDC to link Asian countries. It says Sorimitsu is developing a cross-border payment system that uses Cambodia's CBDC and targets Japan, India, China, and Southeast Asia. You know, we're deep in Southeast Asia. It says here, Japanese blockchain startup Sorimitsu is exploring new central bank digital currency applications with a new project on a cross-border payment system for Asian countries. Sorimitsu will deploy Cambodia's CBDC and a fiat-pegged stablecoin as part of its new payment system, targeting countries. We read the countries already. The new project builds upon Sorimitsu's CBDC expertise, including its involvement in the Asian CBDC project Bakong in Cambodia and Laos Lao Kip. Nikkei reported on August the 8th. Launched in 2020, Cambodia's Bakong is a public-private initiative allowing Cambodian residents to pay at stores or send money through a mobile app using the local riel currency or US dollars. Since its launch, Bakong's Adoption has expanded to countries like Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam. By late 2022, Bakong reportedly had 8.5 million users and handled around $15 billion in payments. Now, when it comes to Japan, we all know that a lot of different financial entities, including SBI, said that they believe Japan will run on XRP. All right. So we will see how that goes. But as of right now, Japan is making good progress, in my humble opinion. Their financial system definitely is having a rough time. So they definitely need the new financial system, just my humble opinion. All right. So now we're going to move on here to another article. All right. We have this tweet here, right? A little bit of XLM related news. I have this tweet here, and it's from Denell Dixon. I'm sure many others have seen this and spoken on it. I'm just going to give my ideas on it. Okay. It says, I've said it before, clarity leads to adoption. This is what Denell Dixon is saying. It says, obviously, PayPal's PYUSD has been long in the making, but it's no coincidence that we're seeing it announced following SEC court decisions and movement on two significant pieces of legislation. The longer the U.S. waits to provide clarity, the more we risk pushing innovation and entrepreneurship. Wait, let's roll back right there. It says, when Denell Dixon says the longer the U.S. waits to provide clarity, the more we risk pushing innovation and entrepreneurship abroad, that lets me know that the heads at Stellar still believe it's a little bit iffy to just absolutely go nuts and dominate in the United States. This is exactly what it means. They still believe they have to proceed with caution, and they might. I don't know. But I would think, no, you know what? I was going to say, I would think if the White House is calling you that you would have the green light, but that's not true because the regulators are rogue. That's the problem. There's too many rogue entities. SEC is rogue right now. They don't care what anybody says. You've heard a lot of Congress be positive of crypto. You heard a few be negative of crypto as well. There's a balance. But the SEC doesn't care about that. They say we're going to go completely negative. And, you know, obviously there has been allegedly proof or a possible proof of corruption. So maybe they can't. But that explains a lot about why, you know, we don't see a lot more activity from Stellar in the United States. Like they could dominate. And I think the same could be said for Algorand, right? But Algorand has a pretty good foothold. I do see Stellar as just dominating in the United States whenever everything is unleashed. So once again, it also shows we have a little more ways to go. There's not an all clear yet, or else Denell Dixon would not be saying this. So while some people say, well, why aren't the coins doing what they were meant to do? They can't just yet. We still have so much more road to travel. Unfortunately, it's that way. There's nothing you can do, you know, but anybody who understands the power of Stellar, the power of Ripple, XRP, Algorand, you know, they're able to make solid decisions about what they want to do. I think a lot of us will be in that long term. And I think that the future is very, very bright. That's all I'll say about that. I don't expect everybody to be there at the end. I never did. I don't expect everybody to think like I do. I don't. I believe Stellar is special. It's a sleeper. They're underestimating it. They don't really see what's coming. And Stellar has been playing a very smart game. This article here is from payments.com and it's titled, Bank of America says the future of cross-border payments is transcontinental transparency. How do you get that in a world that's becoming multipolar? You get that through the new financial system. So it says here, the promise of technical innovations to transform legacy workflows is an easy one to understand, but implementing it successfully across entrenched workflows and processes is a little bit harder, particularly when those programs relate to the complex world of cross-border payments. Quote, if I had to define the current state of the cross-border landscape, I would say that there's a lack of transparency, unquote, Isabel Baranski, a director of global transaction services at Bank of America and head of auto conversion products and transactional FX payments, told payments.com. It says, quote, as an individual, there's only so much that you can do to crack the code of cross-border payments when you don't have much information initially, unquote, Baranski added. Fortunately for companies seeking solutions to streamline their cross-border payment processes, innovations are transforming the way cross-border payments can be identified and converted automatically. Beyond just transparency, a seamless and frictionless payment experience is crucial for businesses engaging in cross-border transactions. Quote, the biggest topic is ease of use, which is what Ripple have been doing, making things easier. Algorand declared they're doing as well, making things easier. Stellar has declared that as well, making things easier. Even companies building on Stellar, like BPV, said, we're coming out with products that are extremely easy to deploy all in one day. It doesn't require you to do any coding or anything. Anybody can deploy this. So we are in the driver's seat as far as that is concerned, in my humble opinion. So it continues here and it says, additionally, having an experienced banking partner can make the entire cross-border process not just easier, but also a little less intimidating. So once again, these are just representatives of the banking industry bending the knee to the new financial system, saying, listen, all you NBFIs, non-banking financial entities, and all of you fintechs out there, hey, partner up with us. We're ready to work. And we know that. We know that. We've heard them say that. We've heard them praise crypto now. They're getting involved in crypto. They're trying to do their own exchanges for crypto. They're doing their own custody platforms for crypto. So the legacy system is starting to get into position. That's also going to take a little bit of time as well, but they're getting into position fairly quickly. And they've been telling everyone that. It's just a matter if the people see it or not before that next bull run happens. It says, navigating the complex world of cross-border payments. Quote, companies are constantly competing for where to put their energy, unquote, Baranski said. Quote, so even companies that have been sending FX payments for a long time generally struggle to find ways of making their processes more efficient, unquote, which is where bank coin companies come in. They said transparency. You don't get more transparency than with us, and you have traceability. You have automated market makers. You have artificial intelligence on some of these chains. You have quantum proofing. All of this is very delicious to them, you know. So now let's move on to another article here, right? This article is from financialtimes.com, ft.com, and it is titled, U.S. regional banks struggle to break from government life support. Look how this is Financial Times saying this. They struggle to break free from government life support, which means they're still, remember I covered all those articles recently where I was telling people, and the articles were telling them, that the banks are still getting bailed out. They're in a bad state. Let's continue to read this here, okay? It says U.S. banks are still relying on hundreds of billions in government financing that was crucial in shoring up the industry after the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank almost 4 months ago. Regional lenders are tapping the support despite a recent rebound in their share prices and second quarter earnings that were deemed to be positive by investors. One source of funding comes from 11 government-sponsored wholesale regional lenders known collectively as the Federal Home Loan Banks, which would likely be bailed out by Washington if they were to fail. Data last week from the FHLB Office of Finance reported that U.S. banks and credit unions, I didn't know that, had $880 billion in outstanding loans at the end of June from these entities, which specialize in providing financing to banks. That's mind-blowing, in my opinion. That was down from just over $1 trillion at the end of the first quarter, when FHLB borrowing hit an all-time high, but still up more than 150% compared with the end of 2021. Quote, we serve to stabilize the system, and as long as rates remain where they are, you are going to see elevated FHLB advances to banks. That is unbelievable. They're hurting them and helping them at the same time. I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me. Unquote, says Teresa Bazemore, the head of the FHLB. Oh, this is coming directly from them. Says the head of the FHLB of San Francisco told the Financial Times. Wow. Hey, Financial Times, you're doing a good job. You're getting interviews with some very, very inside people. My word. Says, however, the FHLB has, Financial Times said, no, you know what? Forget that. We're going directly to the source, so no one can refute our information. Anyway, however, the FHLB has faced renewed calls from critics who think the network should be reined in, having long argued that the government sponsorship encourages excessive risk taking. Yes, it does. If there's no consequence for the banks, why would they change? They wouldn't, and they're going to continue to do things the wrong way. So now, now that we've read how the banks are still in a bad spot once again in another way, right? Let's move on here, okay? Which means they need the new financial system, all right? All roads are leading to that. We get more and more confirmation, and we get a little bit of an update each time on the speeding up of that timeline. So now, this article here is from fortune.com and it's titled, Trouble Continues to Mount in the Office Real Estate Sector. You can't get a loan today. There's no liquidity in the marketplace. All right. It says here, Rich Gottlieb has been with Keystone, a Philadelphia-based commercial real estate firm, for more than 18 years. This is a veteran. And now he's the company's president, chief operating officer after a stint as senior vice president. Like countless others, he attributes the distress within the office sector to widespread shift toward remote work. Well, wait a minute. It's not just a shift to remote work, but why do the people want to do that more? They were treated absolutely terribly in the office. I mean, I've heard story after story about office workers and how terrible it is. And it's just, they see it as trauma, whether you agree with it or not, the experiences that they've had, and they don't want to return to that. That's what I'm seeing there. But yes, because of that, they don't want to come back. And so, and it's not just that. The distrust within the industry because of certain things that have taken place where the companies kind of showed that they don't have loyalty to workers. It has put a bad taste in workers' mouths. I know because I've read a bevy of articles on it where they did interviews with former office workers. So they're very skeptical about coming back to offices and to office work. A lot of them had to leave office work and they went to work at other places. So now they don't want to go back to that, right? They're willing to take pay cuts. This is what literally I'm reading. They're willing to take pay cuts and things like that to be able to have more freedom and live life a little bit more. I think a lot of things put living life into perspective as opposed to making money and being in the office and trying to get a raise and such. I think a lot of experiences, I'm trying to say a lot by saying a little because I got to be careful on YouTube, put things into perspective where now, yeah, they're not as willing to do that. So you're going to have a hard time moving that property. There's a problem. I think that you're just going to have to walk through this fire. But let's continue on here. Says, which has significantly impacted demand. Additionally, the era of an inexpensive financing has come to an end, marked by the transition to an economic environment characterized by higher interest rates and stricter credit conditions. Once again, I'm going to say this. I don't know that I don't think you're going to find a solution to this. I would say tokenization would have been your best bet. I think it may be too late for that because if you fractionalize that office space, I'm sure some people might take a risk on that. I'm sure they would, but whatever reason, you're not going to fractionalize the office space and then break it up and then put that out there for investment, purchase, whatever. So I don't think that's on the table. Other than that, nope, these banks are about to have a hard time. So now let's move on here. That commercial real estate guillotine is coming. It's already being felt. So now I wanted to go over this article, okay, because I said something recently and I like to back up what I say. This article is titled U.S. Housing Affordability at an all-time low. I was just saying this. I want to just show proof that I don't just speak. I speak from things that I know, right? These people don't have money. So with the commercial real estate, I was saying this in reference to that. So like with the commercial real estate problems, even if, and they have floated this idea of turning a lot of commercial real estate into apartments and all of that stuff. They think people want apartments. And people don't have money for these super expensive apartments that cost about the same amount as some of the mortgages around the country for houses, or at least what mortgages used to be. Considering everything that's going on, they don't even have money for like small homes anymore. And I know because I'm reading article after article where they're interviewing people they're saying this, right? So, but let's read this little piece here. It says global. So they wouldn't buy those apartments. There's no one. The money isn't there. The capital isn't there. Even if you wanted to do that, that was my point. So the Global Markets publication, COBC letter, declared last week that housing affordability in America is now at an all-time low, pointing to several striking data points showing it is more expensive to pay for a place to live in the U.S. than ever. So for starters, the outlet said buying a house in the U.S. has become a luxury. I was just saying that. Says It pointed to a Redfin report released Friday showing the median home mortgage payment in the U.S. hit $2,605 a month in July, up 19% from a year ago, and the most expensive ever. Kobisi reported there are now a record 31 states where home buyers pay a median monthly house payment above $2,000 per month. And Hawaii is now the first state in history with a median house payment above $5,000. Really? Wow, I would have never thought that. I mean, but I don't know really anything about housing payments there. This is not far behind are Californians whose median, anybody out there just confirm that for me, that this data is correct? But this is not far behind are Californians whose median mortgage bill is $4,800, followed by Massachusetts homeowners who pay $4,000. Really? Interesting. 37 states now require at least 30% of median annual income for a new home payment. And what the letter said, quote, is truly an unprecedented market. It says in California, unquote, in California, the median house payment requires a record 64% of median household income. It's not just pricey to buy a home. Renting one will also set Americans back more than ever before. The median asking rent for a single family home just reached an all-time high of $1,900. Whew. Crazy times we live in, isn't it, folks? Adam Kobisi, the letter's founder and editor-in-chief, noted to Fox Business that affordability is even lower than in the housing crisis of 2008. So they just laid out all the different facts there. But, you know, listen, I know that just from what I'm hearing from people. The people have been sounding off about this. All right. So I just wanted to put that out there. So you see, like, Alphanine doesn't just say things. I would never do that. I only speak on these things that I'm researching. I read tons of articles every single day. It's just something I enjoy doing. I need my brain to do work. I really do. I really do. It just, I don't know. It does something good for me. So now we're going to close out here. I have a lot of other articles. I'll probably just post those in the members only section. Okay. So let's close out with a little bit of gold news. All right. Let's see if this thing will pop up here. I don't know why my computer's been giving me a hard time lately. So this article is from kitco.com and it's titled Central Banks Become Net Gold Buyers in June, Ending 3-Month Selling Streak. This is after 3 months of net selling, central banks once again became net buyers of gold in June as Central Bank of Turkey again played a pivotal role. According to data from the World Gold Council, in its latest report, WGC says 6 central banks bought gold in June, with only 2 sellers in the marketplace. Net purchases total 55 tons, the report said. Along with Turkey, the People's Bank of China also dominates the marketplace after buying 21 tons of gold in June, extending its buying spree to 8 straight months. Since it began reporting increases in November 2022, gold reserves have grown by 165 tons, of which 103 tons has been bought in 2023, making it the largest buyer year to date, unquote, said Christian Gopal, senior analyst at WGC in the report. After 3 months of selling, Turkey bought 11 tons of gold in June. However, Turkey has a fairly big hill to climb to get its gold reserves back to where they were at the start of the year. Even after his purchase in June, the central bank has seen its gold holdings drop by 100 tons this year. Turkey's central bank was forced to sell its gold to meet domestic demand. Poland was the third central bank that Gopal highlighted in his report after it bought 14 tons of gold. So the other notable buyers in June were Uzbekistan, which purchased 8 tons of gold. Czech Republic saw its gold reserves increase by 3 tons. Qatar bought 2 tons, and India bought 1 ton. All right. So I'm good on gold. Just gonna say that. Oh, the future is bright. If they come out with that common BRICS currency backed by gold, it's gonna be party time. Simple as that. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm gonna do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.